Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Eliza Book, and this is my channel about healthy happiness. If you haven't joined us before, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, and chuck us a thumbs up if you enjoy it, because it really supports my channel and this growing community of having a healthy, happy life. Today's video is me listing off 20 things that I do not buy as a sustainable minimalist. Now, these will not apply to everybody. Everyone lives very different lives. These are just things that I'm able to do and that I have the lifestyle of being able to do these things, and it brings me a lot of joy to do these things. So without further ado, let's get into it. Number one, if you've seen my sustainability video, you'd know that bottled shampoo and conditioner, we need to be moving away from these. There's so many sustainable options. I've mentioned there's Go for Zero, there's Ethique. I don't know if I say that right ever, but they're just great. I love them. They leave the space way less cluttered because you only need one cube rather than a bunch of bottles to do different things. But of course, also disclaimer, make sure that any of these recommendations, just consult your health practitioner first or a health professional first. If these things, you know, some of them may not apply to you and that sort of thing. Number two is I do not buy meat, eggs, or dairy. And if you followed me before and you've watched a few of my videos, you know that I am vegan and my partner Mitch is also vegan, and we like to call ourselves plant-based because it sounds nicer. But yes, it's something that we don't buy anymore, and we feel like we're contributing to being more sustainable and helping the planet a lot. There's so many statistics, documentaries out there if you want to be more educated about it. A really highly recommended one that I would absolutely recommend that you watch if you're interested in finding out about our sustainability through food, and also health is a huge thing with being plant-based. There's a documentary called The Game Changers, which is just great. It comes from a bit of a different perspective, and I really enjoy that. So if you want to learn anything else about veganism or the health benefits, or just the journey of, you know, what it's about, is it even important, really? Yeah, go give that a watch. It's about athletes as well and that sort of thing. It's really great. Number three is new clothes. I do not buy new clothes anymore, except for shoes, which are my exception. Shoes and underwear and socks. Shoes, socks, and underwear I do buy new, but everything else, shirts and pants, jackets, those sorts of things, I do buy from an op shop. So, you know, check out your local op shops in your area, because I also donate bunches of things to my local op shops when, you know, I decide, oh, I don't really like this piece anymore, or this one doesn't fit me. It's a really great option, and you can be really supporting people who don't have the finance to buy new clothes, or if people who want to be more sustainable. It's a really sustainable cause to invest in, and it usually saves you money. So highly recommend that. It's really good. You can find some pretty amazing things at op shops, and it's just so fun. I even get kitchen things from there and that sort of thing. Number four is Glad Wrap or Cling Wrap. It's that plastic film that you cover food with. We've transitioned away from that. Well, actually, I transitioned away from that because when Mitch and I moved in together, he had never used Glad Wrap or Cling Wrap. He just didn't grow up with it. They just didn't have that sort of thing. And so that sort of became integrated into our life. Mitch really loves the ocean. He loves turtles, and he's like, no, it'll hurt the turtles. There's obviously a bit more to it than that, but yeah, plastic in the ocean is a huge problem, and any plastic that we can reduce really can make a difference. So that was something that he never invested in, and so that became something that I didn't invest in. Instead, we put all of our food into containers with lids, and that works fine. I mean, I don't need to put things on a plate and actually cover them up. If I absolutely need to, I sometimes can put like a bowl over the top or another sort of plate, and that can work too. Number five, something that I've never ever bought is air fresheners. I don't even know if there's any health risks to having air fresheners and stuff. I have no idea. But, you know, with a history of asthma in my family, and you know, if people come over, I know that it can be a risk with people with asthma having some air fresheners. Disclaimer, I don't know everything. But yeah, I have heard that some people, it sort of can make them react and that sort of thing. And I've never really needed air fresheners. What I do use is those wax melts with a little candle at the bottom, and it makes the house smell really nice. I really want to get a diffuser with some essential oils because that'll smell so good. But I haven't got that yet, and essential oils are quite pricey. Number 6 is trinkets and ornaments. If you've, seen me walking around my house doing vlogs and that sort of thing, you'll see that we don't really have any ornaments or trinkets just on benches and that sort of thing. I know that in some people's places they love that stuff and it works for them, but for us, being more minimal, they're not something that we need in our life. We do have a couple of exceptions, Mitch has a really pretty, hand-built little sailing boat. It is really nice. We also have one that's actually a light. It's like another little sailing boat because Mitch really loves sailing. But they're sort of the only two ornaments that I can think of, and one's a light, so it's not quite just an ornament. Yeah, so we do have a couple, but in general, it's not something that we buy. Even if we go on trips and that sort of thing. Number 7 is general cleaners. There are some cleaners that I will buy, like sometimes I'll get a toilet cleaner, there's a brand, it's called Earth, I think, and they have the little tablets to put in the dishwasher. They do lots of cleaning products, and I will buy that to use for the washing machine and that sort of thing. I'm slowly transitioning to more natural things than that, but I generally don't buy general cleaners. So I'd make my own general cleaner, which is like for surfaces. I do use it in my bathroom a lot. Use it in the kitchen, lots and lots, and just wiping benches and surfaces. And it's just sort of like a tablespoon of eucalyptus oil, and then like another sort of tablespoon of vinegar, and I just put it in a little spray bottle and I just use that, and it lasts a really long time, and that's great. Number 8 is face wipes. Those cotton pads, or even the larger face wipe pads, like to remove makeup and that sort of thing, I've really turned away from buying those because they're not biodegradable, they're not good for the earth. I know there's probably ones that you can buy, but it just costs more money anyway. So in the respect of saving money, I don't actually buy those anymore. What I do is when I have an old shirt or something and it's made of cotton, then I can actually have cut some up and I keep it in a little box in my bathroom, and I use that to put on, my skincare and also to remove makeup if I decide to wear it. Number 9 is tampons and pads. I used to be that person that I would always have pads. I've never used tampons. I had never felt comfortable using them. I guess probably in high school you hear all those horror stories about, oh no, they got toxic shock syndrome and that sort of thing, which is absolutely a thing. It's no joke. So you do need to be careful about having tampons in for too long. So anyway, it just made me, I always had pads up until about 2 years ago, and then I went on hormonal contraceptives and stuff, and so I didn't get a period for quite a few years. And now I've got my period back, and I invested in a menstrual cup or a daisy cup, whatever you want to call it, and it's been great. It's so much more sustainable. They're made out of silicone, out of a natural silicone. And you can there's so many different brands. They come in different sizes. I know sometimes you have to buy around to find the right size for you, but that has made me feel a lot better about the natural process that my body goes through monthly, because I'm not constantly throwing away disposable items like pads. It just makes me feel a lot more sustainable, and I know that it is much more sustainable. But in saying that, I know that a menstrual cup does not work for every woman, because some people just find them uncomfortable, or they just don't work for some people, and that's fine too. We do what we can. Number 10 is nail polish. When I was younger, oh wow, I used to paint my nails, and I got into that, you'd paint little decorations on your fingers and little pictures. It was all very pretty. And I had this big collection of nail polish. Don't have it anymore. I do have one clear nail polish, but that was gifted to me. And sometimes if I want to look really nice and make my nails shine, I do put it on, but not really. I'm probably going to declutter it because I haven't used it in over a year. So yeah. Nail polishes, they're just not made from very sustainable ingredients, and I don't see, there's no actual health benefits from having them. And so yeah, I just thought there's no point. I try and look after my nails really well, just naturally, you know, just filing them and yeah, just cleaning them often, and it works for me. Hey. Number 11 is plastic straws. Now, I'm someone who really loves straws. When I have my smoothies and when I just have drink like lemon water and stuff, I love straws. If you follow my Instagram, Eliza_book_, you'll sometimes see me have photos of drinks of like lemon water and stuff, and there's a straw in them. So yeah, I don't like plastic straws. You know, we really need to transition out of this plastic, you know, period that we're going through with the world at the moment. And that's what I'm personally trying to do, is really try and go as plastic free as possible, and make more sustainable choices in that area. So I have bamboo straws and metal straws. I don't use the metal straws as much, but I absolutely highly recommend bamboo straws. You can't leave them in water overnight because it just upsets them because they are wood. We got to keep that in mind. So I love wooden straws. Number 12 is plastic baskets. Like your clothes baskets, your dirty clothes baskets, like your laundry baskets and that sort of thing. I used to have plastic ones, and that was just the thing. Everyone had plastic ones. And now that I've sort of, you know, they started breaking and things over time because I'd had them for quite a few years, because they're quite flimsy as well, a lot of them, unless you pay quite a bit of money to get a really tough plastic. Yeah, so they just started breaking, and what I ended up doing was now I have like wicker baskets, so they're made from like a straw, or I don't know what the other word is called. They're made from like a hemp, like some kind of natural ingredient. And my other dirty clothes basket is actually made from metal, and it's got like little wooden handles, and that makes me feel a lot better. They last way longer. Cannot emphasize enough. They last so much longer. So I would highly recommend investing in some of those when your other ones start to die, if you had plastic ones. Number 13 is freezing my own bananas. I don't buy frozen bananas, like already cut up and frozen, because I use frozen bananas in smoothies all the time. And yeah, it's so expensive, like to buy them frozen compared to if you just buy them fresh. And then I just peel them all and I put them in the freezer, and boom, ready to go for smoothies. Number 14 is mugs and cups. I see so many people who have drawers and drawers of so many glasses and mugs. Now, granted, not judging anyone here. If you have visitors over a lot, that makes a huge amount of sense. But for me and for Mitch's lifestyle and, you know, sort of our share house, I have one mug. One. That I use. I don't even have a glass. I actually have a jar that I drink from. So I have one mug and one glass, and that is it. Mitch has one glass and one mug as well. And then I think we've got 3 or 4 spares for if we have people come over. And yeah, for me, I am also trying to, I guess, instill in the household that I don't want to have cups lying everywhere. So, you know, if you dirty one, you have to clean it so that then you can reuse that. So there's other methods to my madness there. But yeah, mugs and cups are not something that we really buy unless we smash all of them, and we would have to replace them. Let's hope we don't have to do that. Number 15 is supplements. Now, there is an exception here because we are vegan, and this shouldn't apply just to vegans, is a vitamin B12 supplement. And that's because most foods, you know, even foods with meat and dairy in them, don't often have B12 anymore, because B12 is actually a contaminant. It's a bacteria that creates B12. And because our cleaning procedures and food health and safety is so strict, especially here in Australia, the food is cleaned so well and so thoroughly that bacteria often dies, and so you don't end up even getting your B12 from your meats and dairies and other things. Now, that's not including everyone. There's plenty of different places where you can get meat and dairy from that may have B12 in them, but I know that it's very significantly less than what the average person needs. And so, and as a vegan, there's not B12 in plant produce because the bacteria just doesn't like it. You can get it from soil, from natural water sources, like if you drink from a stream and that sort of thing. B12's often in that as well. But since we don't usually have those things available, I don't just want to eat handfuls of soil. So I do take a B12 supplement. But supplements in general, unless, you know, directed by a health practitioner, a professional health practitioner, you know, I don't feel that they're that beneficial, really. Like I said, there's definitely exceptions for people, but I know I have wasted too much money on supplements, and I don't think they make, like a lot of herbal supplements, and I don't think they make much of a difference. But that's just personally for me. Some people, it's probably their saving grace. Who knows? We're all different, y'all. Number 16 is toothbrushes. So Mitch and I have an electric toothbrush, so we don't ever buy toothbrushes. Because ours are electric, we just plug them into charge. You can get new heads for them. But I think I've had mine for probably 2 years, and I have not had to replace the head of the toothbrush yet. And so, you know, if you only have to replace a head like every 3 years or something of the toothbrush, then honestly, that's pretty damn sustainable. Especially if your house has like solar power, or, you know, it comes from a sustainable power source, as a lot of Queensland in Australia does. I'm not quite sure if this house does, but a lot of our power source in far north Queensland comes from sustainable sources such as wind power. So having electrical devices that you can just reuse and reuse and reuse is quite sustainable in the long term. If you don't have that sort of option, there are bamboo toothbrushes and other sustainable options for other people out there. Number 17 is plastic cooking utensils. I always get afraid that my plastic cooking utensils, like bits of plastic over time, because you're constantly heating and cooling and heating and cooling these utensils, that little bits of plastic actually come off and get in the food. And yeah, also buying them is not sustainable, because you're again supporting a plastic driven industry if you buy them from that area. I understand this isn't a luxury for everyone. It is actually so hard to find like fully metal utensils, cooking utensils. I have looked, Mitch's uncle and I and Mitch, we like went to so many cooking shops in here in Townsville, and we were just searching and searching and searching. We wanted a ladle, a metal ladle for cooking and soups. And we couldn't find one. We went everywhere and we could not find one. And I'm like, how hard is it to find a fully metal ladle? Okay, I need to stop. But yeah, we found one yesterday, funnily enough, at Big W, which they had some in, and I'm so happy. And I recently just thrown out my old plastic ladle. Winning in life, folks. Number 18, most people know this, disposable razors are horrid. They have so much waste, plus you've got to have so many of them in your cupboard to keep up with your shaving if you shave regularly. And so you have to replace the entire razor every single time it goes blunt. And instead, Mitch and I actually have the head of the razor. We just replace the heads of the razor. We would love to transition into a fully no plastic razor, but they are quite expensive from the ones that I've seen. If you know of any like fully metal razors, like a stainless steel, the handle's stainless steel, the razor's stainless steel, and the head is stainless steel, or any other sustainable material, please let me know in the comments, because we find that they're so hard to get and be affordable for us. So changing heads at the moment is where we're at with that. And like I said, this is different for everyone, and not everyone's going to be able to do all of these things or not be able to buy these certain things. And that's okay. We do what we can. Honestly, it's great even if you just try and do one little thing. You know, like just bringing a reusable coffee cup when you buy coffee. Any little thing makes a difference. So don't feel bad, guys. Don't feel too much pressure. Do what you can. You got this. Number 19 is collectibles. So I mentioned I don't have any collections that I can think of, because some people collect stamps or, you know, there's certain like little items and trinkets and things that people do collect. And that takes up a lot of space that we have space, but I like to keep it space, not filled space. If you actually look around my room with the camera, you'll see that our room is quite spacious. I don't like to fill it up too much. Yeah, so collectibles, we just don't really have any collections, but it's okay if you do. Last but not least is a very interesting one that I thought of randomly, is flower bunches. We don't buy flowers. So I know it's so beautiful if your partner comes and they buy you flowers and you're like, I'm the most special person in the world. But we don't do that because there's nothing like unsustainable really with buying flowers. In fact, it's probably a good industry to support. I don't really know. I haven't done the research, disclaimer. But I just feel sad when the flowers die. Like, why do you have to die? You were so beautiful. And instead, if Mitch wants to buy me something, he wants to sort of buy something along the same sense as flowers, then if he gets me like a little succulent or a little plant, it goes so much further because it lives for ages. If you look around my house, I've got so many little plants everywhere, and I much prefer them to flowers in a vase. Like, even if you just got flowers, like a flower plant, that would be fine too. But yeah, I like plants around my house, and just dying flowers just makes me sad. So that's it for today's video, guys. I really hoped you enjoyed these 20 things that I do not buy as a sustainable minimalist. Now, I know these aren't the most sustainable things that you can do, but these are things that we have the luxury of not needing or not being able or not choosing to buy. If you do buy some of these things, don't feel bad. Everyone is contributing in their own way to the earth and its sustainability, and that's absolutely fine. So thank you so much for being with me here today, guys. Drop a comment if you liked this, or if you've got any tips that you use or things that you don't buy anymore because you think they're not a good thing to buy, and yeah, you think they're sustainable and stuff. Drop it down below and I'd love to hear from you. So thank you so much, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye. Okay.
Yeah? Delicious.